Usually on Bill and Frank's Guilt-Free Pleasures, I always consciously try not to talk about what's going on in the world at the moment because I plan on these podcasts to be timeless. So our episodes could be accessed in the year 2082 and they won't feel like we're speaking out of 2020.
Or 2021.
Yeah, okay, that really messed that up. Okay. So there you go. It is timeless. I don't even know what year we're in.
Exactly.
So I also realized you can't escape the place you're in. So we are doing this podcast right now, just before New Year's, and also in the midst of a pandemic rising, which is what I would call this if I was going to make a movie about the pandemic.
Well,
I could call it Pandemic Rising.
Pandemic Rising? I think I'd pay money to see it.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. There's another idea.
Spin-off.
This song is kind of a fitting start to a new year. King of Wishful Thinking. We're doing Go West, King of Wishful Thinking.
I also like that we try to create so much tension before we announce what song we're doing. But if you're listening to this podcast, you've clicked on the title and it's clearly in the title, the name of the song. I don't know if we're trying to surprise you or not, but we're very bad at surprises.
I'll get over you. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking. And I'll tell myself I'm over you. 'Cause I'm the king of wishful thinking.
Anyways, yes, King of Wishful Thinking by Go West. Big song in the 90s.
1990 to be specific. So this is just as we come into the decade, this gets released. Should we talk a bit about Go West?
British band. Had no idea they were from the UK until I looked it up on Wikipedia earlier today. Peter Cox is kind of the lead guy, the lead singer, and his bandmate Richard Drummie, who you would think would be playing the drums, but no, rhythm guitar and backing vocals.
And it's Cox who plays the drums.
Well, in the video for the song, I don't know if he does I'm sure he's got the chops to play the drums.
He does the drum programming.
Oh, okay.
So in this song, it's not actual drumming from what I can gather, but it's programmed drums, which is a very 80s thing.
It's like the synth of drums, right?
It's the synth of drums,
okay.
Exactly. So this is very exciting. Yeah. I was going to try to not say synth once this episode.
It's impossible for us not to talk about the synths.
So the Go West was big on MTV when they started. That's actually where they kind of hit it kind of big right away. So
really?
Their debut album, they had I saw 2 or 3 videos that I watched this week, and all of them are pretty inventive for its time.
Okay.
And so one was called We Close Our Eyes. That was their opening single.
Yeah.
The video was really cool.
Okay.
He's hitting part of the screen with a wrench, and it would go back and forth and up and down.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and then the other one, Call Me, was kind of an interesting video. They're kind of playing with... Felt like people were floating, but that's at least the feel I got. And there's another one where people just kept being covered in paint.
Oh, okay. I mean, the video for this song, and we'll talk about that later, is it's interesting as well.
Iconic.
Yeah. Lots going on.
So it comes out in 1990, released on the Pretty Woman soundtrack.
Yeah, and it was a big song on the Pretty. It was the song that's playing in the opening credits. You know, when Julia Roberts and Richard Gere's name are coming up, and when Jason Alexander's name is coming up, like this is the song that's playing while the credits are going.
And when it's going during the credits, they actually just play the song, so you don't have it playing in the background, which is a lucky thing for the band.
Yeah.
A little bit of trivia for you. Robert Palmer was paid a ton of money to put a song on this album. I think it was called Life in Detail. And they thought it would be like Addicted to Love Part 2.
Yeah.
But it turns out it wasn't. So King of Wishful Thinking got the push.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they were anticipating Robert Palmer being the big thing.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Well, he was a big swinger back in the late 80s, early 90s, right? So
they'd kind of put their money on him, but it hadn't been Go West that hit the home run there.
Well, They picked a great song for the opening credits. This is a great way to introduce a movie here, I think.
Yeah, King of Wishful Thinking. A great way to introduce a movie about a down-on-her-luck prostitute who gets paid $3,000 by a tycoon to...
companion him.
Yeah. I never saw Pretty Woman.
No?
No.
Was it also in your household, like same sort of scenario as Dirty Dancing?
My goodness. Dirty Dancing would seem more like Bambi compared to Pretty Woman. There was no way we were ever
Well, you
going to
haven't
watch Pretty
actually
Woman.
seen Pretty Woman.
I've never seen it, but just reading the synopsis is like,
Yeah.
he sounds like a bad guy. Is he a bad guy in the movie? He's buying people's businesses, right?
Yeah, no, he has a change of heart at the end. One of the taglines for the movie was, she's a hooker with a heart of gold. And I don't think hooker's a proper term these days. I think a sex worker would be a little more accurate. But yeah, so she has a good heart about her, and then she convinces him to change his ways. And instead of buying up companies and tearing them down for profits, he ends up buying a company or something like that. It's been a long time since my sister made me watch this movie. And then, like, you know, keep the people employed and keep the jobs and keep the company rolling that way because of her influence.
Oh, good.
A change of conscience maybe he had.
Does she get a change of occupation?
It's implied at the end. I hope there aren't any spoiler alerts here, but yeah, at the end, he's the knight in shining armor as he rides to her apartment in his limo with a bouquet of flowers in hand. And so it's implied that, you know, they live happily ever after.
Okay, well, thanks. Now I don't have to see the movie. I think I'll just rewatch Dirty Dancing.
From what I remember, again, from when my sister made me watch it, it was wasn't a terrible movie. It was, I mean, it's one of those iconic movies you kind of have to watch, I think.
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah, okay.
That's our,
We'll debate that later then.
yeah. These are the debates we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What movie that your sister made you watch do you think is the most important movie of the 90s?
So it's an easy to listen to song.
Yeah.
I've kind of struggled somewhat. The more I listen to it, sometimes I just kind of get lost and thought I enjoy it, but then the song's suddenly over.
Yeah.
And I haven't been paying close attention.
I don't want to say it just sits there, but it's easy to. I'm just saying terrible things, or not terrible things, but it's innocuous. There's nothing really stand out ish about it, but it's still. Like every time it comes on, just like, oh yeah, this song is awesome. It's great. But when it's done, you've already moved on to the next one.
It fits right in its time, 1990.
Yeah.
And we got this, I read this comment on YouTube. Some guy had said that you're witnessing the changeover from the 80s to the 90s in the video in particular. But the song kind of represents it because it's a little different from what we would get in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's also moving towards something else. I mean, within 2 years, the 90s to us at least looks like a totally different sort of situation.
Yeah, yeah. And well, in 2 years from when this song came out on the Pretty Woman soundtrack is when the album, Go West's third album, Indian Summer, came out.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a misstep by them, perhaps, that they didn't have an album to follow up on the single because I think they missed out on a chance to sell some records there.
Richard Gere would have capitalized on it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Either way, either as tycoon or reformed businessman with a heart of gold.
Yeah. But I mean, I will say the second single from this album, Faithful, was there was another great song.
Same co-writer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this is the key to the song, I think, in a lot of ways. Although the early Go West songs are good, they're just very different.
Yep.
This one, they had Martin Page on it.
Yes.
And Martin Page, co-writer of We Built This City by Starship and These Dreams by Heart.
Okay.
Yeah, so he co-wrote Faithful.
One's a swing and a miss, and one's a solid double.
We are definitely doing We Built This City now.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We know
This might be another disagreement episode.
Oh, yeah. I think this will be... We'll need to bring in a therapist on this one, I think. All right. We have the 90s transition going on. And Pretty Woman's a huge soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's got interestingly, now I get what happened in the video.
What's that?
Roy Orbison's in the video.
Yeah.
Because of Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Well, now it all makes sense.
Yeah, he's on a boat in the video, if I remember, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, and he had just passed away.
Yeah. When did he pass away in 88?
Or not 89, one of the two.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Oh, gee, they're a little cold, guys.
Yeah. Is it?
Well, Richard Gere's character might have decided.
Yeah, exactly. That cold-hearted businessman. Let's use Roy in this video.
So the song itself, thematically,
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the theme of it? Pretty straightforward, I think.
Being the king of wishful thinking.
Yeah.
It's a getting over a girl song.
Yeah.
I think the guy's singing it to himself because he's trying to convince himself, right?
And so my question I have written down here is, does he fool himself? Because he doesn't say convince myself. He says fool myself.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because I don't think so. I guess you can fool yourself and not convince yourself, right? Because if you're fooling yourself, you're not over the girl. You're just telling yourself that you are, right?
But if you can fool yourself, then I suppose you have convinced yourself.
No. Being a convincing fool. Yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know. These are philosophical questions. I'm really not prepared to answer.
Okay, I apologize for bringing the heavyweight questions.
Yeah.
Here.
Was this Plato?
That you have made our all in my heart. And now I've got to fool myself. I'll get over you. I know I will.
Do you have a favorite lyric?
Favorite lyric?
It's kind of tough because the song kind of goes there, and then in some ways it disappears.
And it's very repetitive, right? I'll get over you. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking. I like that lyric, right?
Yeah.
But there's also the I'll get over you. I know I will. You made a hole in my heart, but I won't shed a tear for you. Like it's all. The verses and choruses just sort of repeat on each other. But yeah, I really like that line, I'll pretend my ship's not sinking. It's like one of those, I know Titanic didn't come out for another 7 years or whatever it was, but like, just, oh, no, we're fine. We're not going down. Like we'll be okay. But yeah, that's the fool part there.
So if you had been music producer for the Titanic, you would have altered the script. So when Leonardo DiCaprio gets up at the front of the ship, the bow, I believe.
Yeah.
He would have said, I'm the king of wishful thinking.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I'd be a better movie director than James Cameron.
I'll get over you. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking. And I'll tell myself I'm over you. 'Cause I'm the king of wishful thinking. I know I will.
My favorite line is, I don't know why I keep coming back to it, but it's, I refuse to give in to my blues. I think there's something about the rhyming of it that makes me kind of laugh.
Yeah.
That's not how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I just think about how they write the lyrics to these songs. So, because to me, if I put that on paper, I don't know how I wouldn't think that would work.
Yeah.
It works in the song.
It definitely works in the song.
Yeah.
I refuse to give in to my blues. That's not how it's gonna be. And I deny the tears in my eyes. I don't wanna let you see. No, that you have made our all in my heart. And now I've got to fool myself. I'll get over.
She made a hole in his heart.
Yeah.
Wow, gee.
He's not convinced.
Yeah.
He's just fooling himself.
But the feel of the music, like the happiness of it.
Yeah, which doesn't lend itself to the lyrics, right? Like it's but I guess that's part of him trying to fool himself. He's telling himself that he's happy, right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm happy.
Well, let's see. Here's a little test to see if he's convinced himself. Yeah. When you listen to the song, outside of now just thinking philosophically about where Go West is going with this.
Well, they're going west.
Okay, good. All right, let me try that again. So when you think about the song, when you heard the song for the last 31 years, did you ever think at the end, oh man, that's sad?
No.
Never.
So
he convinced us. So if he can convince
I don't think I ever really listened to the lyrics too much. No, it's true. I have listened to the lyrics and knowing just like, I'll get over you. I know, like, at first I thought it was maybe a song of optimism, just like, I have a brighter future ahead of me.
Yeah.
But when you jump into it, it's just like, he's trying to convince himself that he has a brighter future ahead of him, but he's not over her.
No.
He's just the king of wishful thinking. He's just hoping that he'll get over her.
Feels like we're kind of circling around our own lives here.
Yeah, well, yeah. think we've both been kings of wishful thinking at one point or another.
I remember one of my early loves.
Yeah.
First love, I think. At least the first girl who wrote me back saying she liked me. So
okay.
That's a relationship.
Well, yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Technically, I don't think I broke up with my kindergarten girlfriend, so we might still be in a relationship. I just don't know about it.
I am the king of wishful thinking.
So I remember the first girl I thought I was in love with.
Yeah.
I thought it'd been love, but it's over now. How do you like that, Frank?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Roxette.
Yeah, same soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a picture of me from when we were at this like place we vacationed. Talked about it in the Amy Grant episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it might have been the year Baby Baby was the big hit. And I thought like we'd already kind of grown apart, me and my first love. We didn't really grow apart. She sent a letter saying it was over.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that was a growing
Yeah,
apart.
there's no growth. That's a tearing apart.
Yeah. But being the king of wishful thinking I thought I could kind of charm my way back in. So by now this is like grade 8 maybe, somewhere grade 8. No, or grade 9. Either way. I remember trying to like kind of work my magic and just not being able to pull a rabbit out of the hat, so to speak, to carry the metaphor through. So there's a picture of me in my Brooks t-shirt, I called it. It's like a white shirt with a pink lettering that says Brooks. So it's fluorescent.
Yeah.
And my sister and the girl that I was interested in are both kind of like giving like a thumbs up to the camera, pointing at each other.
They're posing. Like,
Yeah,
like cool girls.
Yeah, they look super cool.
Yeah.
And I'm there with my hands kind of reached out a little bit.
Yeah.
And giving the sitcom
You just kind of
smile,
shrugging.
shrugging my shoulders. And in my head, I looked super cool, but I look at it. Oh, it's not good. All I can see is my gleaming braces in the sun. So, but in my head, I was king of wishful thinking.
Yeah, that would have probably been in around the same time that this the song came out. I guess, eh? Yeah.
Thanks, Go West. I don't think I would have made it without this song.
Yeah.
That's my story.
That's your story? Yeah. Well, I mean, we could be here all night just talking about the girls we thought we got ourselves over but didn't.
Yeah.
I think I haven't given up my throne as the king of wishful thinking, but that's a deeper conversation for my therapist.
Yeah. Or a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
So this song, we talked about it all working against itself, right?
Yeah.
1992, the next album comes out that this song finally gets featured.
Oh yeah,
on.
Indian
So
Summer.
2 years
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
And it's this. They have Faithful, good tune. We talked about that already. But why do you think the album itself, that didn't sell well?
Well, I don't think it struck while the iron was hot. Like, I think everyone who really, really loved the song already had it on the Pretty Woman soundtrack. So by the time the album came out 2 years later, they're like, well, why do I need this album? I already got the song, right?
And by then, Boyz II Men is ruling the charts around 1992, that era. It's late 92. And then you have like on for us, indie rock scene, also grunge is making its big play. And so this song kind of didn't have a place in this world anymore.
No. Yeah, which is unfortunate because again, this song's pretty fantastic, and so is Faithful, right? Like from that album in '92, which it just probably didn't have the traction because, well, it was a single that came out 2 years after this one, right? You've lost all traction, I think, which is unfortunate for the guys in Go West.
But to their credit, you have a good tune. You just got to wait long enough, and people will bring it back, and they're still performing.
Yeah, okay.
And the lead singer,
Peter Cox,
Peter Cox. His voice is the same. He hasn't had to drop the register or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, or a key, or I don't know the
whatever
words.
it is.
Yeah.
You know what? We talked to someone recently that explained some musical terms to us, and she explained what a bridge was to us. And I remember, and I was thinking just like, yes. So I have to remember this. So
what did she say?
I can't remember at all. It's it was something about emotion and evoking and getting from one place to another. But
takes you to the end of the song. Is that what she said?
Or something like, or it takes you to a different place in the song. I don't know. She's a music teacher, so I think
we'll need a
maybe a questions corner, and we'll ask her music questions. But then, that kind of defeats the purpose, or not defeats the purpose of the podcast, but it works against us. I think we're lovable misfits that don't know what we're saying.
But where's the bridge? We know that there's a bridge in the song.
Yes, there's a bridge in the song, yeah, which I like, because right before the bridge, there's this musical, like, everything sort of smashes together.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a really big sound in this song, right? Like there's a lot of instrumentation going on. And right before the bridge, there's a musical break. And then they hit into the bridge, which is, I will never, never shed a tear for you. I'll get over you. And then the backing, I know I will. And it's not so much different from the rest of the song, but that takes you from A to B, which I think is what a bridge does. I really don't understand how bridges work.
And it's got the musical interlude leading to the musical interlude, then the bridge, and then we go there.
And then after the bridge, though, they pull back on the music, and it's a little more of a vocal sort of powering the verse through, which I like that whole transition. I think that's what they called it, a transition, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking, and I'll tell myself I'm over you, 'cause I'm the king of wishful thinking. I'm the king of wishful thinking. I get over you.
I like that part too. I like what he's doing with his vocals there.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid listening to it, I knew what part of the song I was at, especially at the end when his voice is kind of going high in some parts, low. He's got a really good voice for this.
Yeah.
Like we get to the video, we can talk about what he looks. He reminds me a lot of, he doesn't sound like him, but he looks like Huey Lewis.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's something about just the way he sings. It's sort of like, not a dad.
Yeah.
Well, Huey Lewis always seems like a dad to me.
Do you know what's a lot like a dad? His dancing in the video.
Yes. Well, maybe it's time.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about the video.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we mentioned, or I said that, like, there's a lot of instrumentation, a lot of stuff going on in the song. There's a lot of stuff going on in this video.
Well, let's start. It starts with the car coming up at the beginning, which is a pretty woman thing.
It starts with them sitting in the director's chairs and setting up the whole video.
Yeah, they're directing the video.
It's very meta.
Yeah, so they're directing. They're holding like tape or something,
Yeah, and they take the camera, the
lens off,
or the cover off the lens. Yeah.
So they're watching, and then the car rolls up, and they come out of the car.
Yeah. And it's a Julia Roberts lookalike
who's opening
the door, and then they get into the video.
So he passes the mic to Mr. Cox.
Peter Cox.
I gotta get his name. Peter Cox. Richard Drummy.
Richard Drummy
is then does this sort of little kind of dancing.
Yeah.
Which I could see myself doing in a corner when I was feeling kind of awkward or not caring about life at all during a dance that I didn't have quite the guts to get on the floor to. Yeah. But
Peter Cox,
he goes for it.
Oh yeah, it's feet firmly planted on the ground, shoulders moving back and forth. Yeah. There's like an almost snap fist going on. It's fantastic.
He's almost dancing harder and faster than the song really deserves.
Yeah.
So watching, like, when I listened to it just on the radio or on the Spotify, it felt slower than I remembered it. And then I realized I was so used to the video, I just assumed it was going faster.
He
gives it when he and he does it in all those videos.
Yeah. I think it's comparable to the dancing in Boy Meets Girl, waiting for a star to fall.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, it's he's doing his own thing. Yeah, that's for sure. So they start singing with a mic that has no cord.
Yeah,
and then
called cordless mics.
Thanks, Frank. And then you have a hockey team playing and some dancers.
Yeah,
And then you have
There's a mariachi band in there.
there's a mariachi band. There is just a band playing horns. They have zebras.
Yep.
There is an elephant doing tricks.
There's rocks falling early on.
Rocks falling early on.
Because it was what's the lyric? We were never carved in stone, and that's when the when the stones fall from the sky.
And at one point, someone's trying to break the rocks with
a jackhammer or whatever. Yeah.
So, okay, we got zebras, we got elephants, we have a marching band maybe. There's a scene with a sailor who's got flowers. I guess that's a reference to the movie. And then he kind of trips up and starts dancing. And it's just kind of, I don't want to say random, but it's certainly out there. I don't know what. There's Roy Orbison on a boat.
Yeah, there's ballet dancers in it.
Pope John Paul II.
That's right, yeah.
What?
It's all over the place. And I think that the feeling I get is they're trying to evoke what like Los Angeles is, what LA is to people who know nothing about LA, and from people that probably don't know what LA is all about. Because there's a couple of scenes in it where Peter Cox is in a tank top, and it kind of reminiscent, looks like Bruce Willis from Die Hard.
Yeah,
which was big and takes place in LA, right? So. Like, I think they're just trying to be Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, and he's got about 4 outfits.
Yeah.
So there's the outfit. He comes out with there's the blue,
the suit or the jacket or whatever. Yeah.
And the white shirt underneath that he keeps, I think, when he has a long sleeve, just doing his dancing with his jeans with the shirt tucked in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's got the sleeveless undershirt.
Yeah.
Where he does his dancing, but in the one he has a wrench.
Yes.
And that wrench is a callback to their very first video.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So in those first few videos, he was dirty and like it looked like he'd been working all day with this wrench. So the wrench is sort of a callback to his first video from like 6 years before.
It's a video transition. Is that the word?
No. I don't think that's the word.
Someone explain to me how videos work.
Yeah. Now, the end of the video has a bunch of kitchen sinks falling down.
That's right, yeah.
And so here's the theme. They threw everything at you, including the kitchen sink.
Which makes sense.
Because he's the king of wishful thinking. He'll do anything he needs to get over her, and so he throws everything he can.
You really thought about this video.
I did. And
I
all
just
the
looked
guys
at it and thought it was crazy.
Yeah, it took me a while, but it finally came to me that this is what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite a deep song.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So you had a theory though about
I did?
Not a theory. Let me try that again. you had a pretty apt comparison for this song to an actor. Could you bring that to the table?
Yeah. So the song in itself is and I mean this in the most respectful way, is it's non-offensive, it's innocuous, right? It's Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is just a likable guy from like in the movies that I've seen him in. He's always that likable guy. And I mean, you watch Paul Rudd on Conan is hilarious, right? And but yeah, this song is 1990s Paul Rudd, who actually looks like 2021 Paul Rudd, because I don't think the man's aged.
And it's especially fitting because of the Jimmy Fallon episode.
Yeah, because Jimmy Fallon and Paul Rudd did a shot-for-shot remake of the of this video with them singing, and Paul Rudd's got some singing chops here. He can do a pretty good Peter Cox impersonation.
The great thing is it's a comedy kind of, but because the video is so ridiculous, it's hard to tell if it's just an homage. Well, it is. It is an homage, but it also works well for comedy.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Rudd had a good point that he brought up after they showed the video, and he's on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
He said, "Do you think there were storyboards to that video? They really went into a white empty space and said, we have hockey players, we got ballet dancers, we have a guy that kind of looks like Roy Orbison on a catamaran." So I thought that was kind of a pretty apt thing saying, so who came up with this video? Like this is an expensive video.
Yeah.
They just threw as much money as they could at it.
Including the kitchen sink.
Well, I guess because it's a second single for the Pretty Woman soundtrack. And Pretty Woman made way more money than they thought it would.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack made way more money than they thought it would.
So maybe they just are like, carte blanche, here you go.
Yeah. Categories, Frank?
Categories.
All right. Well, you got mixtape ready, don't you?
Well, I've done a little bit of research here, and not necessarily same theme in terms of lyrics and meaning of the song, but same sort of feel about the song. Like it has the same feel. What's another good word for feel?
For feel. Emote.
Emote. Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know. Is
I don't
that someone feeling or giving emote?
Well, I'm not talking about like feelings, but like, texture of the song.
Oh, okay. I think texture is a good word.
Yeah, okay. Same texture of the song.
Yeah, okay.
So I would say Eric Carmen, Make Me Lose Control.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Good call.
And the other one would be Taylor Dane, I'll Be Your Shelter.
Oh, that's good too.
I think it's similar textures.
Okay, that's good. All right. I was thinking kind of same theme and same sound. I have one to add.
Sound, that's the sound.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Okay. It's Matthew Wilder. The song is Break My Stride. Ain't nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Song that would match this.
Yeah. Okay.
And on the flip side, you could throw in, I've brought this up before, Bonnie Raitt's I Can't Make You Love Me, just to sort of be the dark side of the king of wishful thinking.
When are we going to do that song as an episode?
It's got to be this year.
Yeah.
What product could you sell using this song?
Oh, king of wishful thinking.
I'm thinking deodorant. So someone could be dancing like Peter Cox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. You got it, Bill.
They're dancing like Peter Cox, holding the wrench, singing wishful thinking, but lifting their arms up. But because they've used deodorant, they can be the king of wishful thinking.
I was thinking like something like mind control. Can you sell mind control with this song?
You could. I wonder. So maybe it would be for therapy.
Yes.
Like a therapist.
Yes.
That would maybe cut out the thing about fooling himself.
Yeah.
I'll get over you. I know I will.
Yeah.
I know you will too. Welcome to marriage or
marriage. That's not a good marriage counselor, I don't think.
Yeah. A love coach.
Yeah.
A love coach could use this.
A mind controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are other categories?
Well, I mean, I think this is a karaoke song.
Yeah.
Because I think the bar would sing along. Well, I don't think I've ever been in a public place when this song has been played and people aren't at the very least humming and singing it quietly to themselves.
Do you think Austin could do a karaoke to this or would karaoke this?
Oh, I think he'd definitely try.
But there's no question.
Yeah.
Austin's never seen a song he wouldn't go for.
Yeah.
I think he would. I think this is an Austin karaoke song.
There's this just came to me because, I mean, they're both British, but there's a bit of a Rick Astley feel about the band.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think Rick Astley would do this in karaoke.
Yeah.
If he wasn't singing his own songs.
So that could be, so for cover artists.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rick Astley would sing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Michael Bolton.
I think he could do this.
Yeah, I think this would be a good encore.
There's a lot of power to the song, right? So I think that it's right in his wheelhouse. I mean, I think he'll hit the limits of it. He'll blow through the limits of it, but that's what Michael Bolton does. That's his superpower.
Now, the flip side, there's an artist who did a cover of this, and she did not blow the limits of this.
Who is that?
Carly Rae Jepsen's cover of King of Wishful Thinking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, why did I forget about that?
So how are you feeling about her cover?
Okay, full disclosure, and I know people are sick of me saying this, but I kind of like everything that she does. I really do. This song is, like I said, it's innocuous, and she didn't change too much about that, right? I think she kept true to the feeling of the song.
Yeah.
And this song is again, right in her wheelhouse when it comes to lyrical topics, because she's always, pining over a boy or whatever. And then in this song, she's trying to convince herself that she's, over a boy, right? So,
yeah.
Carly Rae, if you're listening to this, we need you on this podcast so you can explain all these things to us, and also explain what a bridge is.
So I feel like this is a good song. If this is the new year for you, if you're listening to this and the new year is upon you, well, this is a good one to throw on. Even think about any part of your life. If things are going wrong, you know what? Throw it down.
Yeah, there is an optimism about the song in terms of the feel of it, the texture of it. I think we just came up with a new term for the
texture.
podcast. The texture,
So what texture does this song? What does the song feel like when you touch it, Frank?
Doesn't feel as dirty as what you just said to me.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that's true.
It feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like it's like a nice like comfy sweater.
So it's plush velour, maybe
like I said, it's not dirty, Bill.
Okay,
it's not velour.
Okay, how about is it felt? Is that what they call it? What am I wearing?
I don't know.
I'm wearing Angora.
I'm pretty sure that's a woman's sweater.
It is. Yeah. Right.
But it's a comfortable hoodie.
Comfortable. Okay.
That's what the song is, right?
Yeah.
It's the Paul Rudd.
It's the Paul Rudd of pop songs.
Yeah.
I just got a text right now.
Oh, okay.
From Chris Newkirk.
Yeah?
Who said he wants to talk about this song.
Okay, so we got to talk to him about this song.
Yeah. So I think this is a good transition to talk to Chris Newkirk. Do we think he liked this song?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. I'm going to say no. Just because. I want to add some tension.
Yeah. Well, you're wrong, Bill.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to Chris Newkirk and see what he's got to tell us. Well, it's great to have Chris Newkirk back with us again. Welcome back, Chris.
Thanks, Bill and Frank.
I've been working on my podcast voice.
I like it. It's fake and lovely.
Yeah. So we looked at King of Wishful Thinking by Go West, and Frank and I aren't sure if you're going to like it.
I kind of like it in as much as I like the far superior song it rips off.
Okay.
And so that song is so good that this one can't be bad.
So what song is it ripping off?
She Drives Me Crazy by Fine Young Cannibals.
Oh,
good call.
I don't need to fall at your feet just 'cause you cut me to the bone. And
Actually, I think they were thinking about that song when they wrote it. I thought I'd heard that somewhere. That was kind of in their mind when they wrote the song.
Well, they're all from England, so it was probably,
It was a big hit then. And then I think when was She Drives Me Crazy? That must have been mid to late 80s. They probably wrote this late 80s, right? And it was released in 90.
It was released for the
First.
movie in 1990, but it was on their album in 92. But I think She Drives Me Crazy was a 89 song.
My brother had the single, King of Wishful Thinking.
Oh, okay.
So back in those days, in the days of 1990, I obviously was buying a lot of music then, and my brother wasn't so into music. Brian, he's 1 year younger than me, and I think we were trying to bond and go to like a record store and trying to get him to get something. You like music? Come on, just get something. And I remember he bought King of Wishful Thinking by Go West, and I remember existing in a place like I'm going to like this song because he picked this, and we're going to play it in his truck, and we're going to listen to it and sing along to it. And so it's a bit nostalgic for me too, probably because of that, and probably because we did play it and sing along to it. And in all fairness, I mean, those melodies are pretty hooky. They're big. I feel like the whole song is a canvas for just the melodies. There's no distinguishable parts to the song. It's like this rhythmic canvas that rips off Fine Young Cannibals. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I kind of like it. It's a poor man's She Drives Me Crazy, and there are worse things a song could be.
I
Okay, so well, that was Chris's take on the song, and
We'd love to hear your thoughts on the song, so please reach out to us.
yeah, we'll be sitting here, the kings of wishful thinking.
Looking at our phones,
Yeah,
waiting.
So thank you for listening, and I guess Bill and I are going to go west.